other
No,
day.
no, I just got it here once.
I don't know if you all remember, but this is the rose I demonstrated when we were doing the hydrangeas.
Yeah.
So I started that. I had a couple of roses. Well, I added leaves so we could, and I finished the other rows so we could finish. I could show you how I finish them. Okay, after I've stroked them, I use my angle brush. It's just a tiny bit of your dark value. In this case, it's cranberry wine. And then I'm going to start, I'm going to go ahead and float in there darker in the mouth. I do this so I can kind of even it out.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
And then I'm going to start to tuck some of this dark in to kind of separate some of the petals.
That would help a lot.
Definitely need an angle brush.
Yeah. I use mostly angle brushes.
Thanks, Donna.
I do too. It's really awkward for me to use a straight edge brush, but I wanted to try today. Because I do
And
everything
then-
with an angle brush. Absolutely.
I'm sure you can do the strokes.
You can do strokes
Yeah,
with, but
you can. I
I
just
find
wanted
that
to test
I
myself.
started out doing stroke roses using an angle brush, but I tend to put so much paint in the brush that I was wearing brushes out too fast. So I discovered I could do pretty well just with a flat brush, so that's why I went back to a flat brush. And I don't care for the smaller angle brushes. They just wear out too fast.
They do wear out.
So I can use the tip of this one, so I use that. So anyway, this is just, I'm just separating the petals and creating more depth down in the rose. So, and here, this one, I'm going to put this right down in there. So each rose is different, so you know how much you need to put depends on how dark you made it to begin with.
Well, maybe my strokes aren't so bad after all when I get done doing that.
Well, this helps them. This does an awful lot to help your rose. It kind of helps those petals pop out.
Beautiful.
See, I got too heavy there, so when I'm demonstrating, I'm try to rush sometimes, so I
Oh, I thought you were demonstrating it.
strokes. Okay, now when I don't have very much paint, I want these to really stay lighter, but when I don't have very much paint, I'll go ahead and shade a little bit behind these strokes, especially if I don't have definition. And on this one, I wish I had put another row of petals. So I'll just create
Where?
Why
up
do
here
you-
at the top,
Oh, in the back.
just
Why do you
for
wish it?
looks. So I'll just
She's
create.
picky.
I'll just create another row by putting a little shading back there. So I've kind of created, and then I'll add some lights to it. I usually do this twice, but to save time, I'm just going to do it once. But if I want to,
You put those-
one thing I
excuse
wanted
me,
to
but
show you,
You put those,
those are going to be bug bites.
yeah, okay.
I just filled in with some green here and there with the background.
Yeah,
Okay, I might want these roses to look different than each other, one to be darker. So if I want a darker rose, I'll create a wash of, in this case, cranberry wine. You pick a transparent in the same family that you're working in, and then I can just put an even wash over this entire
I'm always
rose.
afraid to do that.
And you can see that it doesn't really cover up your strokes. It just deepens the color a little bit.
I just know when I
You
try
might
that,
need
I'm
to,
gonna
and you
mess
might need to do it more than once. Because I had already put some highlights on this, so that will darken that rose just a little bit. Now to make my roses kind of have some sunshine, glow a little bit, I'll go ahead and brush on the highlight side of the rose some cadmium yellow. This is just a wash. And you can see how this kind of brightens up the rose. I usually don't do it on the under petals. And now this one is, this one would probably, I would give it another coat because I want it to be darker. I don't have Debbie's fan, so I probably can't do it yet.
Want my fan?
No, that's all right. I'll just wait on that one, and so I'll go on. Now, I have to re-highlight these petals, so I'm going to go back to my white or my lightest color, and I'm going to start adding some white highlights to bring some of the petals out.
So you don't float around every petal?
No, I just kind of add, you know, these petals are going to undulate a little bit, so some of them are going to catch more light than others. So I'm just using just a scant amount of paint. And this is an area where if I wanted to make it look like I had another layer of petals in there, I could just use some little white and just float a little bit right in there. So that gives another layer of those background petals. And then I'm gonna,
So there's lots of little tweaking. to
oh
make your
yeah,
roses
there's
look
lots of little
better.
tweakings to make your roses pop, so.
That's what I have to do to me every day.
Just tweak yourself.
Tweak my makeup.
I don't look
So
so good
I just
without
kind of go around and I highlight where I think a little highlight ought to go.
But you gotta remember
Because
where your
I'm the
sun
color
is,
turkey.
right?
Yeah, my
Uncooked.
light source is coming from up here.
I'm too lazy.
And
Really?
let's see,
Yeah.
this
I
one.
never wear
Takes me
makeup.
5 minutes to put my makeup on.
Now this is another thing. See, I wanted this
Yes.
petal to extend, so I just extend the light a little bit. And it kind of creates a petal that kind of turns that way. That's not the prettiest petal, so I don't really like that. So I think I'll just get rid of that. Didn't like the way that.
I thought it looked good.
I didn't like the
Yeah,
way
you
that
do.
one looked, so I'll just highlight part of it. And I won't extend it. And then let me see, this one kind of needs a little, I kind of got heavy on that, a little heavier than I wanted to get.
Because that's on the underside, and the light's coming from.
So anyway, that's kind of what I do with that. And then if I want this one to be a little bit darker again, I'll go ahead and put another wash of this is cranberry wine.
What about in the mouth? Do you darken? Will you darken?
Well, I had shown you all how to do the mouth, so yeah, I'll just redo that mouth because I had done this in a hurry and I didn't really wait for it to. But I'm going to go ahead and go over my petals again. So this one will be a little bit darker rose than the other one. Does that scare you, Sharon, when I go
Little bit.
painting over this stuff?
Yes.
This is glazing, basically.
Yeah,
Just a little light wash over. Okay, and then I'll let that dry.
it's pretty.
And then I'm going to go back and I'll add some more shading and highlighting to this one also, the way I did the other one. And I think I just dropped a little water right there. Now for the centers, and after I do this, sometimes I'll even come back again with some more yellow just to kind of give it a little bit more of a sunshiny glow. Just to make it pop a little bit, especially the one on top. Now for the centers, this is a real scientific way of doing this. Sometimes I have raw sienna on my palette. I think I brought a liner. Yeah, there's one. I should have brought more brushes today. So,
That pattern with the eagle, you have that in